welcome back to Creekbend in Bloom. I'm glad you guys came back to see what other fun stories we had to share with you. I'm Pam Bonin, Marketing Manager for Oliver Winery. We're here with Bernie Parker, our vineyard manager, which you've met him before. It is a beautiful March afternoon, and Casey, our cameraman, and myself basically saw the sunshine, and we needed a reason to come back out to Creekbend. Last time we left you, Bernie and his vineyard crew were pruning our 30,000 vines, and they are still pruning, almost done. So like I said, we're looking forward to spring, and we have an expansion planned of 3 acres of Traminette grapes, and we're excited about bud break. But like I said, we just needed another reason to come out here and chat with Bernie. So thanks for taking the time, Bernie.
No problem, Pam. Good to see you guys again.
Good. Well, so what we wanted to do today was actually just chat with you about how you arrived at Creekbend Vineyard and meet your crew, basically. So we're gonna go talk to Sheila and Justin as well. Like I said, they're out in the vines right now pruning, so we'll have to track them down. But we're nice and cozy on our front porch of our farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
Bernie, how long have you worked here?
I'm going on 11 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, we've started back in 2000, and it was kind of funny. I had been helping harvest for 3 years, ever since the original planting that Bill and Kathleen did back in '94 started producing. And my wife and I, Katie, started helping to harvest there in '97 during their first harvest, and got to know Bill and Kathleen over the next few years. And Bill bought this property over here and was planning on expanding the vineyard. And we saw them at the Vintage Indiana, the first one in 2000, and found out that they're sitting around talking, and Bill said, well, we're going to expand the vineyard, and I need a vineyard manager. He said, how would you like to be my vineyard manager? And 3 jaws dropped. Mine, my wife's, and Bill's wife, Kathleen, because she didn't know anything about it either. And I said, well, I don't know anything about growing grapes. And he said, well, you spent 22 years in the Navy in the bomb disposal team, still have all 10 of your fingers. I can teach you how to grow grapes. And I said, sounds like fun. And he said, well, if you're still interested on Monday, give me a call. And I called him on Monday, a couple interviews, and I was out here that Friday. Starting
Good
work.
story. So so just so all of you know, Vintage Indiana is the largest wine festival in Indiana that celebrates the Indiana wine industry, and it's really grown. So you said the first year that they had it was 2000?
Yes.
And it's wonderful. I think over 20 wineries actually participate in Vintage Indiana. It's a whole day of wine tasting and music, and like I said, just celebrating the industry. And so you're telling me that after a full day of wine tasting,
yes,
if you can catch Bill at Vintage Indiana and ask him if you can work for him, he'll probably say yes.
Well, that's a possibility.
Bernie, you're holding something in your hand, and I have to ask what it is, because I always get really excited when you find these kind of things in the vineyard. So can you tell me about it?
Sure. Out here in the vineyard, we've found a lot of different spear points. The archaeology department at IU came out and did a dig here to find out what tribe was settling in this area, because it's a high point right above a creek, Bean Blossom Creek down there. And they did their research, and they couldn't figure out what tribe it was. And they figured out, though, that it was somewhere between as old as 5,000 to 10,000 years ago. And they decided to call it the Oliver tribe. So if you go to the State of Indiana Museum and look on the map of all the Indian tribes, you will find the Oliver tribe right up here in northwest Monroe County.
Wow. So we've got an Oliver tribe, and now you all know how Creekbend name came about, from Bean Blossom Creek that bends around the vineyard.
It bends around the vineyard about 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Around the perimeter of the vineyard, or the property here.
Great. And spearheads are actively found, or
Yes.
found often at the vineyard, which is great. So, Well, cool. Thanks, Bernie.
You're welcome,
We're going to
Pam.
go trek through the vineyard and see if we can find Sheila and Justin.
Okay.
Feel free to point me in the right direction.
They're over there in the Chamberson working on
Great.
one of the last fields. I
Almost
think we've only
done.
got about 3 acres left.